Good morning. You are watching Beyond the Headlines on Freedom Square TV. We are reaching you from our studios in Enugu, Southeast Nigeria. The People Democratic Party, PDP, is one of Nigeria's most influential political parties. It was founded in 1998 during the nation's transition from military to civilian rule. The PDP emerged as a broad coalition of politicians, technocrats, and civil society leaders who are determined to stabilize Nigeria's democracy. The party quickly rose to dominance, winning the 1999 presidential election with Chief Olusegun Obasanjo and maintaining control of the presidency for 16 unbroken years, from 1999 to 2015. During this era, the PDP positioned itself as a party of national unity, promising to deliver the dividends of democracy through reforms in governance, economy, and infrastructure. However, the party's long years in power were also marked by internal wrangling, accusations of corruption, position of candidates, and weakening party discipline. These cracks widened over time, leading to major defections and loss of public trust. In 2015, the PDP suffered a historic defeat to all the Progressives Congress APC, marking the first time an incumbent president was unseated in Nigeria's political history. Since then, the PDP has struggled to reinvent itself as a credible opposition party. Leadership tussles, factional crisis, and a decline in grassroots connection have further weakened its influence, even in states where it once held unchallenged dominance. Of course, the Southeast. The 2023 general elections exposed new vulnerabilities, with the Labour Party disrupting PDP long-standing control in the Southeast and parts of the South. Today, the question on the lips of many Nigerians is: was there truly a party? Is PDP still a formidable national political institution? Or is this now only a shadow of its former self? Can it reform, reconnect with Nigerians, and return to power? Or has its time passed in Nigeria's evolving democracy? Joining us to reflect on the journey of the party, its visions, achievements, failures, and future is no less a person than a man who was there at the beginning. He was there at the formation of the party, 1999. And in Enugu State, he became the founding chairman of the party. Beyond that, he traversed the entire country, ensuring that PDP remained afloat in 1999. That man is Chief Barrister C.O.C Egumgbe, PhD, founding chairman of the PDP in Enugu State, and now a legal practitioner and, like they say, a legal luminary in in Enugu State and in Nigeria. So, Barrister Doc, good morning.
Good morning. My pleasure to be here.
Yes, it's our pleasure to welcome you to Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you.
You were part of the team, like I said, that midwifed the PDP in Enugu State and across Nigeria. Take us back to those early days. What was the vision of the party at its inception?
Once again, I want to congratulate you on the outfit, this television station. And I believe that their build capacity in no distance time will be one of mostly reckoned in this country.
Thank
you. PDP was a child also of circumstance at that point in time. You will recall that during the Abacha regime, this question of transition to civil rule from IBB to Abacha, we were part of the Democratic Party of Nigeria. and there was the UNCP, there was the GDM, so many other political parties. So within that period of transition, General Abacha died at the head of state. And then there came in General Absalom Abubakar, who had 6-month tenure, and then who simultaneously ordered that transition to civil rule should also commence so that he will hand over within that 6 month period. And so politicians across the country, societies, individuals, they started to meet and began to fuse together. And then two major political parties now emerged. The PDP, which was nurtured mostly by members of the G34 who were battling Sani Abacha and then trying to compel him to return the country to civil rule, headed by Dr. Leslie Kweme. There were other parties there. We had the PDM group also, who was headed by the late Umar Yadwa. There was also the progressives, which included Solomon La, Bakarimi, Jim Wobodo, Jerry Ghana, rest of it. Then the core conservatives, led also by Seme Kweme. Then we have the likes of Dr. Sylvester Ugo, Onyabo Obi, Professor Lezenwoda, and the rest of them. Then those of us in Enugu here, under Jim Wobodo, we floated the New Era Alliance, comprising Jim Wobodo, Odus Okano, Greg Mbajiwe. And this new alliance entered into the Patriotic Front, the umbrella body, which the Igbos fused into the main PDP. But summarily, between 98 and 99, the PDP was formed. So all this run around, as the case may be, by the grace of God, I was part of nurturing that party. As a matter of fact, the first official office of the PDP in Enugu State was my chambers for Etobiago Street. Before I temporarily moved to GRA, Hope Foundation, owned by Dr. Kusezumod. And finally, we bettered in Metro Cinema. One, opposite one police station. So that was the transition. And basically, it was a populist party, kind of egalitarian, kind of a progressive party, as compared to APP, which was then party of the bourgeoisie, as the case may be. So, and in the election that came, the PDP swept over 24 states or thereabout, and then took over governance of this country and continued to run the country at a point in time. In a bombastic manner, the former National Secretary, Vincent Obola, boasted that this party was going to be in charge of this country or govern the country for over 50 years. Today, PDP is now a shadow of itself. At that point in time, there was passive discipline. No matter, because our language was party is supreme. Well, president, your governor, the party is respected because it is the party that goes to the war. The governor is an instrument of that war. And that's why you don't see names of individuals. You see the party emblem where individuals go to put their thumbprint. It's not the name of the candidate, it's the emblem. But today is the reverse. And the irony is that the party has now created a monster or monsters that have now eating them up.
Before we come to that, let's just establish what, in your opinion, are the factors that contributed, first of all, to the dominance of PDP. PDP held supreme. PDP controlled the commanding heights of Nigerian economy, politics, everything. Even though they boasted that it will happen, they will take it for 50 years, but they did it for 16 years. What factors, in your opinion, made those years possible?
I think there was a practice of separation of powers. There was party discipline. The executive was performing its own obligation. Parliament was performing its own obligation. And the legislature, no interference, no intimidation. So, based on that and the respect, each organ was jealous of not allowing the other organ to take control or to interfere in its affairs. And it created a positive checks and balances amongst them. While the party was there as the main controller, ensuring that its elected officials take cognizance of the regulations and the constitution of the party. The parliament was also, in spite of the fact of the majority of the ruling party, they were also checkmating themselves. Whether we are the Senate president, we are the speaker, that was where you saw in the Senate presidency a lot of removals or impeachments of those who were Senate presidents. It was so easy to remove the Senate president and another person is elected in that order. It was not certain. And the issue of influence at that point in time was not there. They were looking for somebody with capacity who can control. So the fact that you are in the same party with your colleague does not stop that your colleague from challenging your policies or your actions. And so there was freedom and the people were liberated. The judiciary was entirely separated. And we are coming in as the adjudicator to ensure that the civil rights, the constitution, the regulations, including INEC, was protected. And that created stability of the country and even progress. Unlike what started happening when some indiscipline started creeping in and people began to be richer and richer and richer and abuse of power started to come in.
But many observers may not easily clap for you on this particular point you just raised, because they argue, and those are critics of the PDP. They argue that the PDP held power. They were together more by power, physical, electoral power than ideology. But the state PDP never had an ideology. Do you agree, based on the historical background of the PDP? They were together because of naked power, not because they had something in common.
Well, I think in terms of ideology, in the real sense of the definition, third world countries cannot be said to have an ideologies. It's a general phenomenon in third world countries. Once you take power, it depends on the person or persons who are in charge. What their antecedents, what philosophy of governance do they need to introduce? Other than that, after all, up to today, what you see today, you see a congregation of people moving here and there. Otherwise, how can somebody just pack his load and come in today and you welcome that person? No queries, no nothing. Don't ask questions, no antecedent. Just come in. And somebody will even boast, their sins are forgiven once you shift. And if you don't shift, then you're both a man on the other side. So, because the bulk of the elements that founded PDP were majority of those who braved it to battle the military government and were requesting of them to hand over to civilian rule, notwithstanding the toughness of those military regimes at that point in time. So for them to have come in to take charge of that government, they started to implement those things they were accusing the military government of not doing. So within those period of years, they were now checkmating themselves, and they created an element of stability. That was what happened. However, some governors started even to borrow some military terms, like dismissing summarily dealt with. This summarily dealt with. You fire, you do. But the courts were there. Any irregularity, any illegality were checked by the courts. And then it created stability over time. So you have to praise PDP within that period of time, because it wasn't expected. And take note that the bulk of those people were the progressives. The Maltese were in APP. Taking the Enugu State, for example, in which you participated, you had people like Sisiono, you had people like Otenigwe and so on, they were in APP. And then in Enugu State, we the errand boys,
The Tanakawas.
yes, formed the bulk of the PDP, except for Jim Obodo. The rest of us were on Alex on the road, 2-4. And we were able to pick one of our friends who had even virtually nothing as governor compared to the candidates of the other side who were supported by millionaires. But we were able to take charge of that government. But along the line, the adage that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the threat now to gradually affect those recipients and those who climb through the ladder where we are holding the ladder. And when they now got up the building, they took away the ladder. So why crash? And everybody started there. Crash.
Okay. That really takes me to the next question. Maybe you repeat yourself there. A tsunami of sort, a political tsunami of sort happened in 2015. People thought it was going to be an earthquake, but it was a tsunami. It swept off the PDP and as had become historical, the first time an incumbent PDP president lost power, was defeated, so to speak, and PDP fell from power. From your own perspective, an insider's perspective, what really went wrong?
I was privileged to have participated in that 2015 elections. And in Enugu State here, I had the double duty of Director General of Dr. Ifeanyi Ogunanyi Campaign Organization, the state. And I was also the DG of President Jonathan campaign in Enugu State. There was this issue of whether Jonathan was serving out the rebels' tenure and whether it was the turn of the South to run or not. And then some of us, we didn't know the details, whether they had an arrangement with the North to serve out the term so that the rotation will go back to the North for them to continue with the other tenure. We didn't know about it. On our own part, we felt that constitutionally, he was entitled to go for second tenure. But actually, what happened was a kind of, there was a coup d'etat, sabotage inside the PDP with itself from within, including those serving him, those trusted people from a particular part of the country serving him in Aso Rock. They all sabotaged. As a matter of fact, materials for elections were not distributed or utilized. Some of them were just dumped to make sure that he lost. And so, that was how we found ourselves. We lost the election. However, there were other ranging from the electoral umpire and a lot of things that happened there. And then I must tell you that that man, Jonathan, if you're talking about somebody being a Christian in practice, yes, because we as coordinators, that we already foresaw what was going to happen. We foresaw some political, let me now use jingoism, going around our opponents. And then we formulated some checks. And if we had reacted, probably Nigeria would have been a different kettle of fish because we anticipated what was happening. And we planned to now checkmate the atrocity. Because on the balance, if things were properly done, probably on the merits, he wouldn't have lost out. But being the kind of man, he felt there was no need for us to query or reject that declaration?
Yes, because when he said Jonathan was quick to concede defeat, he had no balls, as they would say in America. Yet others said he has
Did they check there to know whether the balls are not coming?
others said he had remained true to his campaign, saying that no, his election doesn't want the blood of another of a Nigerian. With benefit of hindsight, where did you stand on that acceptance? Because that phone call, that phone call,
And
that made a lot of things easier for you.
yes, and that phone call was done on his own without consultation. We never anticipated that he was going to call soon, but he saved the nation. I think we appreciated it because if we don't have a country, what are we talking about, leadership or elections, and then that make this the statesman. And today, at least, he's been acquitted. Those of us who may fear that no, that these people just twisted us and they just did what they wanted to do outside the sabotage. Even the umpire, the way things went. So when your men were still in the field debating, you understand? You have already gone on the ground.
Yes, it's like a general in the army, an army general that had taken people on a campaign.
Yes.
And at the heat of the war,
yes,
when soldiers are falling left and right, and of course, the matter was not conclusive, general decided to surrender.
So morally, yes. You understand? Politically, no.
Okay. Now, many people still complain that what they call complacency, arrogance of power, and inability to connect with the people may have in more ways contributed to the failure of PDP. The PDP got at a place, it became very arrogant, in fact, politically arrogant. They never cared about the feelings of the people. In fact, they were disconnected from the people. And so they found a willing, whether he was good or bad, but they found an alternative to the man called Muhammad Buhari, who, looking back to 1983, when he seized power, thought he was quite a man of discipline, he was a man of honor, and a man of integrity, that he was going to turn around things in Nigeria. Well, he had done 8 years and gone. And of course, it's late. We don't talk ill of the dead, but we can talk about his administration. Do you think that those Nigerians who placed their hopes on Buhari in 2015, that they were justified at the end of the day?
They were disappointed. Because if you had continued with the policy or the PDP with slight modifications, because a lot of hype was heaped on him, including me in PDP, when I said, this top general,
yes,
we have lost.
You know, nonsense.
So, yes, let him now go, and that indiscipline inside us, even in PDP, inside Nigeria, let the general go and cure it and deal with everybody. I was expecting people now to begin to enter the jails, and then the anti-corruption agencies will begin to go for the big men, not for the small people. And at the end of the day, his report card was unfortunate. And ironically today, even though the present government is a product of that preceding administration, but they still now talk about trying to remedy the wrongs of the immediate administration, which is an extension of this administration. So, but in PDP, while we are also managing the economy, very sound, because what did PDP achieve? We are not afraid to hire the best brains. Check the Obasanjo's administration. Obasanjo will confront you, doesn't know whether you're able or not. Debate with him, and have the ability to remove you if you mess up. Yes. not afraid, whether you are from Igbo, whether from Yoruba, whether from Hausa. He was looking for competent people, at least to a very high degree. And he boosted that administration. Somebody like Okoji, do you see such characters anyhow? So though there was a technocrat, they brought him in, and these people were had round pegs in round holes, or square pegs in square holes. Let's maybe. So it assisted our party until arrogance came. And then the Mr. Nobody started to destroy the place. So what I can say is that the hype on Buhari, unfortunately, even when you watch him, even in the interviews on television and the rest of it, he don't even appear to understand the questions being put across. Yes, I've monitored it many a time. You say one thing, probably there's already fixated on something you want to answer him. Answer it that way. For the reason that outside being a military man and they started farming, he had no communication with development education. If you see IBB, for instance, IBB mixes up with all kinds of brains. Every day you see professor, you see this, you see that, and the way he talks.
So I saying Buhari went to farm and forgot the world.
And from there, yes, it was, I want to be president. So by the time he came on board, do you know the memos? Who will read it? You give him that memo. Yep. It's a big job to read these memos and analyze it, and then sit the minister or advisor. What is this? Give me a summary of it. And when people discover such false, this assistant will now come in to assume authority and begin to act on that behalf and destroy the system. So it affected him. That's why people are saying he was there, doesn't know what he's doing. Compared to what's happening today. What's happening today is a very strong man. A very strong man. He's not afraid of anybody. And then in Nigeria today, who will rival him. And then he has been celebrating his friends. And he will not stop at that. Having a structure over time. He doesn't talk with those structures. So, and those structures is now transplanted. Without knowing that there is a different kettle of fish. Right, Nigeria is a very big, a serious business. Yes, it's a serious business different from a state business, and that distinction must be made. So ordinarily, you have areas you can even help your structure, but in certain positions that are critical, you must make sure that the right persons are there, no matter where the person comes from.
Okay. Well, this part of your argument. A lot of people will say, if you don't patronize your friends, will you patronize your enemies? The devil you know is better than Daniel that is somewhere. And he speaks to loyalty. That's why some people remain loyal. Because they were with him when he was in the jungle. They were with him when he was everywhere. And they stood by him. And he says, now we're here. Whatever kept us together, let us do it together. But unknown to them, like we just said,
yes,
Nigeria is not Lagos. Nigeria is not a state. Nigeria is a nation.
It's a nation
of multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multi-political,
and all kinds of diseases abound.
Yes.
So you require different therapies,
different approach
to handle them.
Okay. I think we'll just take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll look at again how PDP could recover from this fall, because they say there's nothing wrong in falling, but what is wrong is that your inability to rise each time you fall. Let's take a short break. We'll be back.
Not everything makes it into the headlines, but we bring you the full story. Join Uchenna Cyril Anyoke, a renowned media personality and former president of the Nigerian Publishers Association, as he unpacks the real issues behind the news, from politics to public policy, economy to human rights. Nothing is off limits. Expert guest, in-depth conversation, local and global perspective. New episode every week on Facebook and YouTube. Watch now on Freedom Square TV. Follow for updates and behind the scenes clips. Beyond the headlines, beyond the news.
You are still watching Beyond Headlines on Freedom Square TV, and my guest is still Chief Barrister C.O.C Egumgbe, PhD, founding chairman of the PDP in Enugu State, and today a top lawyer here in Coal City. Doc, PDP today. Some say it's carcass. Some say is an ICU, intensive care unit. Some say it is beyond redemption. At the fall it made over 2 decades ago, 2015, was a deep fall. Do you think PDP will recover from that fall?
Yes and no.
Yes, because, and no because.
Yes, because the leadership are going and some left. The followership are still there. A good percentage watching, confused, bitter, and some not even prepared to follow the leadership. So what happened in Apeda? Most of the grassroots, they refused to follow the government. Some in Abuja we have decamped. Some didn't consult those who were elected, as case may be, and they crossed over. The PDP, during its formation, was a grassroots party. It was the party of the masses. It was like a religion, as far as this area is concerned. My old mother, everybody, they know the umbrella. To vote, very easy. Outside their normal religion, as far as the Enugu State comes, that party is the party that people obey until the arrival of C.O.C. So whatever gains Labour Party had, it was an individual maneuver. The youths trying to make a change through a particular person. But in other elections, it didn't radically affect the other elections. Because the PDP survived most of these areas. Aside how the Igbos looked at C.O.C and their candidature. So it was like the Igbos been oppressed in this country, and one of them now, why can't he be president? So it was a universal appeal, and then people zeroed in. So in some area, they now say, okay, if you don't vote for Labour, for P2B, you don't vote in for this, then if you go in there, there's no way you can win. And they say, Labour everywhere. So in some of our areas, we have to fight to say, no, go this way, but the other way, go your normal way. So today, because of the independence of the formation of PDP, whereby people at the lower echelon form the basic superstructure, substratum of that party, it's been difficult for that party to be killed. And that was why even when the former president, Basanda, tore his party cards on television, Atiku left the party and to come back. So many others, that party did not die.
Yeah,
today,
it could not die, but it will say it's in ICU.
Today, that party
is on life support.
That party, I think malaria, not ICU.
Thank for us.
Huh?
Let me tell you why I said that. Let me tell you why I said that. Look for PDP in Imo. Yes, you may have this grassroots you're talking about, but those influencers are not there no more anymore. Go to Abia. They're not there. Go to Ebonyi. They're not there. I'm not sure they're able to fill the candidate in Anambra for this election.
Let me tell you this.
And then the only place it is still breathing with oxygen
In Enugu
is
State.
in Enugu State. Oxygen.
Now, let me tell you this. The irony is that all those people who are now thinking in APC, check their dossier, they are all PDP. A good percentage of them.
They were
Especially
they were in PDP.
They were in PDP. The PDP made them what they are before they named them. Some were senators before, some were governors before, of PDP extraction.
But they lost faith.
So,
they lost faith
today, why are people afraid? They are afraid because of the power of incumbency. Assuming we have positive electoral reforms and the organs of government do their work very well, you may be surprised that all these high-flying personalities may not control the mindset of the grassroots. The result of the election may surprise you. For those of us in the East, you have to work very hard to sweep away that party called PDP in the mindset of the oldies, as the case may be, because they have done so well within their time. But what do you have today? Can you trust the umpire so as to give us a proper balance sheet? Assuming it's a research that we are doing and all things are equal, we can then at least forecast or hypothesize that there's likelihood of this result to be obtained.
But,
But in this case,
but artists are never equal. Artists are never equal.
So people will just line up, and at the end of the day, it's a different kettle of fish. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the PDP is in slumber. Let me use this. Slumber. So I think it's much better
than the progressive
than ICU.
Okay, let me tell you why I say it's an ICU. The Osun entire PDP structure,
Yes,
and the Ogun PDP structure say that they are within Tinubu. The whole of fact is all the governors, that exception, are supporting Tinubu. It doesn't matter which party they are supporting Tinubu. The only one where the PDP can equal to Mobile Enugu State, with all the rumors going about everywhere, is shaking. And if perchance, has been without considering that for any reason, His Excellency the Governor of Enugu State, that many believe is doing well, decides to port. Based on what the short end of the stick that PDP are given to him and the Southeast, in the run-up to who becomes the National Secretary of the party, in which he himself, the governor, authoritatively said, if you don't give us our candidate, we will consider our union with the PDP. Said it on a Sunday. On a Monday, the National Working Committee returned Anyang. We were like, man, what are you talking about? And that's why today it is neither here nor there. So, given this small
background,
that's why many people say this, because if for any reason, His Excellency the High Working Governor of Enugu State leaves the PDP, I might have done my ICU and a cook or a better description.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that as we are speaking today, some people will be carrying APC cards. They are just there and waiting. There are some people also who feel that they will not go anywhere. They will not go anywhere. But you know that it's not the first time. The governors of the South, notwithstanding the political party, have the feeling that Tinubu, being a Southern candidate, should be allowed to complete his tenure. It nearly happened in the preceding election, whereby some governors in the Southeast tried to play ball in favor of Buhari, in view of ensuring that he goes second tenure as an arrangement. So, and based on what's happening in the country, you know, locally you can talk about PDP, APC. Then nationally, people from the South can be appealed to. Maybe allow one of us to complete our tenure so that he can go north, which is visibly what is being translated today. But it is also not the first time that a party can vote for another candidate and remain in that party. You know what transpired in Enugu during the election, National Assembly elections in Enugu, when Senator Okoro was denied ticket, Uchenna, the current minister, was denied ticket, Anna Ayede was denied ticket. What did the PDP do? The PDP was a party. So something happening is not new. What did PDP do? Under my chairmanship,
Move to AD.
So for those constituencies
Unofficially.
and senatorial zones,
Unofficially.
yes, and it can be done. We moved and collected, we called the party meeting and told the party meeting that these are people who were denied tickets, that these people were the people we nominated, and along the line, their tickets got lost. In Abuja. Whether we were going to allow it, they said no. They now authorized us. We now moved to AD, collected their funds. I personally took the form to Senator Okoro, whether you accompany me. I took to Wakibia and I took to another. I asked them to fill the forms. And then we now pleaded with our party followers, think those senators and constituencies in that particular to vote that way. And they voted that way.
They didn't charge you for anti-party.
So the national chairman called me. Solomon called me and gave me a query. Yes, I responded to that query. And I gave my reasons, which he knew, because he was aware of what was happening in the state at that point in time. So if such a scenario creates itself,
again,
and there's a dialogue, the governor dialogues with the party, as the case may be, and consult the party. You have a caucus of the party, which is the highest governing body of the party in the state. And he dialogue with them and they agree. You take it back to the party itself. So it will be by agreement, because that party decision is the highest decision making. After all, the will of the people takes precedence over and above individual interests.
That is why the people, a group they call the Patriots in Enugu, a few weeks ago came out and said, Peter Mba is our party. That was their statement. Say Peter Mba is our party. Wherever he goes, we go. And tricky question for you here. Founding, if you were writing the name of register of PDP in Enugu State in 1999, and then would have been Islepia #1. So you nurtured that party, and today, even though you say there are circumstances in which, I say with some arrangement, the devil can see God. So you're not saying with some circumstances, you can do what we did in 1999 or thereabout. What is it was 1999?
99, yes.
Yes.
99.
So you are saying that if perchance the governor of Enugu State decides to pitch the camp elsewhere, how would you manage that scenario as a founding member of PDP?
Well, what do you think that is constant in life?
The idea of God.
Good.
I don't believe it.
You already told me now. The bulk of leadership of APC today, including Atiku, he was among those who formed that group, and he lost. He came back. Isn't that so? He's left again. So, the governor today is our leader in this state. And being our leader, if he's faced with such a scenario, What he requires is consultation. If he does his consultation and then gives the reasons, and based on the track record that he already gotten and is still doing in this state, I believe that majority will follow him. He will be followed. After all, whether you are in let me now use football team, Manchester United or this or that, people are interested in your victory today. It's no longer semantics. In practical terms, what is there for the people? And then the young man is doing a lot of things. In fact, has done so much that if you're moving about the streets, it's no longer where probably maybe Chifu Chanyoke lives in this street. They come and tie between here and your house, and they will abdicate. And people are telling me, oh, I got up in the morning, I saw these people excavating my area and so on without any connection. Do a lot of things. That's the kind of governance that we want. So I know it's a dicey situation, but he is in a advantage position better than myself to see what's happening in the country. And we will not want him to be isolated from the scheme of things. Yes, the state can, with its own resources, do a lot of things. But if you look at the geopolitics of the country, one wouldn't want him to be isolated. After all, the party is in name, as the case may be. And then because they have spoiled it, are you not aware of our party members who are still spoiling the party? And nothing has been done to those individuals.
Because there's no party, because there's no party anymore to this.
And so, what are you going to tell this man? The only thing that he should learn is that you don't dig in. Like when the party says, okay, I insist the person. You know, when we are battling my own, at a point we told our master Jimobodo, forget about this. I formed this party. We've suffered to form the party. And strangers want to take us away. And the man said, no, you people work for it. We fight for it. And at the end of the day, we secure something. And it's still happening to them. We're happy about it. Yes, we might have gotten, but the fact that you lie down and you're happy, whether they change its name, that what God has used to institute an instrument of governance in the state is still running. And somebody who has the button is holding it very well and charging very well.
Okay, we're coming close to the end of this conversation. But before we do that, Nigerian democracy is maturing. But do you actually think that the parties in Nigeria, they are learning any lessons? Because they've been rising and falling. Doesn't matter which party it is. Or are we just stuck in a cycle of power struggle with no ideological depth? Our parties, some say they're just partying. They are not parties. They are partying. They are not parties. What you say to that?
I think after that 1998-1999 set, that first tenure of Obasanjo, that was when you had so to now have continuity, to evolve to maturation has become a problem. And then you now have merchants. We have people. But our challenge is the caliber of people we have asked to manage the affairs of political parties, including those in governance. I used to know those times. We come in a local government, in a constituency. We as a party will say, this person is going to run. Go and call this person. It's not rich. The party will fail you. And our boss, Jimodo, was telling me, in their own days, in 6 days, they don't care where you come from. They will look for your quality and ask you to come. And all the donations are made in the name of the party. Today, you now have individuals richer than the party. So the result is that the party chairman goes to the contenter's house, where he cap in hand, where he's given transport money and money to do one or two things. In those days, you saw what will happen. We never go to visit anybody. We sit in our office and they come. And they come, we tell you, go and do program primaries. And many lost. And we ask you, use your money to go and sufficiently engage your people at the grassroots level and mobilize them. But along the line, those with that philosophy were weeded away because power has come in and more finances. And then instead of now growing to maturation, we have returned to square one. So the right people are not in charge in many places.
Okay, a lot of young men and women are desirous of joining political parties, but they are skeptical, given what they see our elders do. They are skeptical because it is money politics. They are skeptical because they are seeing what they call legacy appointments. Legacy appointment is your father was nobody, you don't get appointed. If your father is somebody, they keep appointing. So you serve the man is out of the stage, you still serving his son, and you begin to wonder, when will your own son even get up? Because you're Mr. Nobody. You talked about those days when you went out fishing for people. I recall our fight in DPM when you were in charge. You were chairman, I was the publicity secretary. When a money bag in Enugu
Yes.
brought money,
Yes.
and you said no.
Yes.
He said, give us this candidate, take this money. I was in need of that money, you were in need of that money. But we rejected it.
Yes.
If they had changed our cars, those money would have changed our cars.
Yes.
You said no. And you insisted.
It was a 1 million check. Orient Bank check.
You remember the check?
Yes.
And you said no.
They forced the check into my pocket. I took the check to Apache office and dropped the check there until Wednesday. I refused to change those names.
And the man wanted us to have a particular candidate for DPM,
Yes,
for Enugu North local government.
yes.
And it was a man that was feared all over Igbo land. So finally, what advice do you have for young men who want to join politics but are skeptical? Because that's our point.
You know, they should be their time and begin to learn, because the difference between the young men of today with us is that from school we have some training of activism. So we were prepared in our university days. And now when we were unleashed into the society, we already knew our cautions. We knew our bearing. We knew our target. What do you have today? The young men want to enter into politics to begin to make money. And some of them were privileged to even appointed the administrator and so on. And see what happened. In previous administrations, somebody began to build a house immediately, begin to marry, begin to buy vehicles, without taking time. And once they call you mayor, the person had be blown off. So they need to get themselves organized and take some studies. But we still have that Nigerian problem. When they take charge, will they not still fall back into the same mess? Because some of them were privileged to have been appointed. How did they acquit themselves? It was a poor result. So they have to decide to learn and to be patient and to take a personal oath of integrity and to disrespect money. Very fundamental. Give somebody an assignment, a young man, take this money there. On the way, has opened the and see whether he could take one or two stuff out of it. So we need integrity. And our institutions of learning, they have a role to play. You know what's happening today? Some don't want to go to school. So sorting. So what kind of those you are training to take over from the society, if these are the caliber? So we have to begin from the schools to begin to nurture them. And those in governance now should also be wary on how they handle these our youths and give them these opportunities. For the ladies, it's a pity they have been created to be receivers. Even when a woman is very rich, scarcely would they like to bring out their money, except for this our senator.
The Kogi senator.
Yes, given out to the unwanted. You understand? Dishing out, competing with men, taking care of senatorial districts. You know, other than that, you see them being frail, receiving one kobo and then running away. But the man has the capacity to be bringing out money all the time. And then even when he doesn't have the money, to be able to step out. But for the women over here in this country, it's, they don't want to buy anything more often than not. I'm not trying to say that you have very good, so many of them who are sound, but they're on the other side.
Yeah.
They're on the other side, doing a lot of things in the academia, the judiciary, the rest of them. But those in political circles, they scarcely spend money. Because in Nigeria, it is spending money. Because once you indicate interest, you want to run anything, if you money, your house is filled up. And people are there, my child is in hospital, my school fees, all this, that. You have to take care of some of those things. That's Nigeria for you. But until government begins to do what it ought to do, and then take care of this downtrodden, and ensure that people are educated, and then civic rights are taught in schools, that to vote is a right, and then to receive money or whatever, or wrapper or whatever, that at the end of the day you have been paid. So by implication, you can no longer ask that person to account to you because already the person has discharged a contract with you, haven't collected money from that person. Overseas, you can't do it. That's why I see two parents. The wife will say, "Oh, I'm voting for Democrat," and then no, based on their manifesto, what they intend to do. So today, it's not like we're talking about ideology. It's not ideologically driven. That's why this morning you cross the other side and you start to laugh. And there's a law there. There's a law there written down where people voted for you. You didn't consult them. Let's even leave the law. The morality of it. Can just see those women standing at the polling booth, standing for you, and ensuring that they don't live there. Some in the evening, old women, 70, 80, and their votes are tallied for you, and they're happy. You are representing them. And just 3 minutes, you have crossed over. And no query. You have sold away their votes. The obligation, social contract you had with them. And they settled with laughter. And that's it. And we're saying we're a country. It's unfortunate.
Okay, it's really unfortunate, but I remember your admonition to the young men, which is key for me. They should take oath of integrity, and then, of course, they should try to reject money. On that, we want to thank Chief Barrister C.O.C Egumgbe, Charles Egumgbe for finding time to be here and for sharing a wealth of reflections and insights on the PDP's journey from its birth as Africa's biggest political party to the challenges it's facing now, to the extent that, it says slumbering. if I want to choose their words. So clearly the story of PDP is more than just about a party. It's about the story of Nigerian democracy, its promises, its pitfalls, and its future. To our viewers, thank you for staying with us on Beyond the Headlines. Join us again. I will continue to unpack the stories behind the news. Of course, I'm still with Jenna okay. Saying goodbye. Keep the conversation going on our social media platforms at Freedom Square TV. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay beyond the headlines. And to Dr. Egumgbe, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
For being a part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.